Christian.
Thank you
so good
for
to have
having
you
me.
with us.
I appreciate it. Thank
And
you.
obviously, you are joining us with Old Spice here.
Yes, I am. Yeah, they've had a great program. Been fun spending the week with them, getting to see all the different stuff they're doing. Just released their new all their 5 new body washes. I heard you're an exfoliator, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, they got a new one.
It's important to stay fresh, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let me say this. Can we start off with,
sure.
ladies and gentlemen, First Take, we pride ourselves. I know I pride myself on being fair. Okay, I'm going to call it like I see it. We get into subjects from time to time, particularly being an African American, about discrimination. I called him. Basically, I said his situation was reverse discrimination. This is one of the baddest brothers to ever play college football. He had a 2,000-yard rushing season in 2015, 1,600 yards in 2016, and everybody talking about all of these people. And I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I'm proud of you because of what you did. Number 8th overall pick, Carolina. This is a bad somebody that has been underappreciated from the time he was in college. He's that good. I just want to say
I appreciate that, man. I'll tell you what, he's one of the only ones, man, from the jump that stuck with me. So I appreciate being on the show.
Well deserved, well earned.
Yeah, it's great to have you here with us.
Thank you.
All right, you took New England on the pick board. Fans like it. Why do you think Brady and Belichick will get it done?
Oh man, well, first off, I had to pick, so I picked the Patriots, and I think it's tough. It's tough to go against a guy like Tom Brady and obviously a coach like Bill Belichick, and to see what they've done and the experience they have. And I think it's going to be a competitive football game, though. I think honestly it could go either way. You got a powerful, hungry team in the Rams, obviously, and then you got the guys who have been there, done that in the past. So I'm excited to watch it. I think it'll be a very competitive game.
Let me get into the Carolina Panthers, because obviously y'all didn't make the playoffs. And I want to know, obviously you had a 1,000-yard season. Your Lord knows how many receptions you had, for crying out loud. And I think I'm looking at it from this perspective. Was it really about Cam Newton getting hurt against the Pittsburgh Steelers when T.J. Watt hit him and y'all were never the same? Or was there something else going on that derailed y'all prospects?
Well, I think when you talk about football, I think individuals get way too much blame and way too much credit.
Okay.
And I think it's the most team game in the world. There's 22 moving parts, on the field at once. And as much as you would like to say that it was this one thing or this one thing, when you go back and look at the tape, there's 1,000 different things that if they went one way or the other, we're in every single football game. Rarely do you see teams get blown out. Maybe a couple times a year, each team has a fallout here or there, but we're within 6 points of 5 or 6 games in that season where it had nothing to do with Cam's shoulder, where if this happened, if I made a play here, someone else made a play there, we win the football game. And that just kind of goes to show you how tough it is to win in this league, and it really is an any given Sunday league.
Yep, but obviously Cam did just have the shoulder surgery. How concerned are you about his health to start the season off?
I'm not concerned. I think he's a heck of a warrior. I mean, you watch all the stuff he does, diving for the pylon. I've seen him deplete safeties for, throwing out blocks for guys on reverses, stuff like that. When you see that, he's got the warrior mentality that you want in a quarterback, and he's an extremely hard worker. So watching him, I know he's going to do everything he can to come back.
I respect his work ethic, his warrior mentality, his level of production over the years. But when you are that valuable, does it not reach a point where we now have to start questioning wisdom? In other words, because those are some big boys out there that y'all going up against. Even though Cam Newton's a big boy walking around like 250, does he really need to be taking those hits and inviting them when he's the quarterback of the franchise?
Well, I tell you what, I think like you said, you respect his production. I think that's what has made him produce, is that mentality to go for the pylon. I thought, when it comes to competitors and certain guys, I love watching UFC fighters, and some of these guys have the fight won, but you'll see them in the last 10 seconds brawl. And they're risking getting knocked out. And I think that's just kind of that mentality of I'm in this because I love the game, and I'm in this because I enjoy playing football, and part of that second level stuff. Now, I would personally like him to not take as many hits. Yeah, absolutely. But I just don't think, it's kind of in that fighting spirit that you want to continue moving. You want to throw out blocks. You want to fight for first downs and dive for the pylon. So I think that's part of just what makes him him.
Since we're both big UFC fans, who's your favorite UFC fighter?
Oh man, I got to go with my guy Justin Gaethje or Cowboy Cerrone. Those are two Colorado guys.
Oh, Cowboy Cerrone just beat that brother down the
Yeah, he
other week.
did.
Lord have mercy.
And a lot of people counted him out. They said he was too old and he got it done.
That brother that he beat up, I don't even want to say his name because it would be embarrassed. It's the kind of beat down where it's hard to go home to your woman. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, that was a butt whipping right there. That was bad. That was bad.
No, he's a Colorado. Both of them Colorado guys, so I root for those guys.
I'm a John Bones Jones guy myself. That's just me. That's just me.
He's the real deal. The only person that gets in his way is himself. Which backfield do you think is more important in this game?
Well, I think when you look at New England's backfield, it's tough to stop. I mean, they have a monster in all of them, and they're so unique in what they can do and how they pick apart them. I also think, with LA, obviously I played with CJ for a little bit this season, and to see what Gurley's done, and I think, I don't know what his health situation is, but I know that when he's healthy, he's one of the best that I've seen. So I think they're both extremely important. I think developing a run game against both these defenses is extremely important.
Believe it or not, despite the fact that CJ has played well and Todd Gurley is Todd Gurley, despite rushing for 10 yards on 4 carries in the NFC Championship game, I'm shocked that you didn't jump at pointing out New England from this perspective. It's not just about Sony Michel running the football. James White been catching passes out of the backfield, and there's very few people that does that in the NFL better than you. So I am surprised that you didn't mention that as being a decisive advantage for New England.
Well, that's what I mean when I say monster in all of them. I mean, you got Sony, who obviously has done what he's done. James White, Rex Burkhead, all these different guys. I mean, you watch James White run routes out of the backfield. That's a guy I've studied every single one of his routes, and just to see how he sits in zones and to see how Tom gets rid of the ball like that, every single time. It's almost like it's I don't want to say easy because it's not, but they've repped it so many times that it looks very repetitive almost. It's fun to watch.
What can Carolina learn from the New England Patriots?
I think we learn a lot. I think we're obviously we got a really young team right now. We got a lot of unbelievable veterans, but we also have some young guys, like myself, who can learn a lot. And I think we try to pick apart things from every single team. I don't want to say we try to mimic New England, but obviously with the success they've had, there is a lot to mimic. I think the poise under pressure is something that is admirable. When they're down, they don't panic. They stick to the game plan. They stick to the script, and you've seen that work out for them in the past.
I feel like the running back position was devalued for a bit in the league, and that seems like it's no longer the case, and teams are realizing it's still, the ground and pound that gets it done in the end. And there's so many good backs in the league, including yourself. Who do you think is the best right now in the NFL?
Me. Yeah.
If you had to take yourself out of the equation, if you're not allowed to choose yourself, and I love your confidence, who would you roll with?
Oh man, I mean, there's so many backs.
Give me one, just one.
I think somebody I've watched, and this is a big statement. Obviously, I've seen tape on every single back. I try to pick apart everything. And watching Saquon play has been special. He's a special athlete, so I think he can be in this league for a long time. And just to see, what he does, his balance, the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, the ability to run any way you want to run has been fun to watch.
Yeah, he just got Rookie of the Year, which is a major deal.
What will decide this outcome of this Super Bowl 53? What's the one key thing that will decide who the victor is?
I think the offensive and the defensive line is going to be the most important thing to watch. I think those guys don't give enough credit at all, and they don't. Obviously, I think when you can dictate an efficient run game and with an offensive line, and your backs can get in a rhythm, I think that changes the entire game. It'll let Tom be able to step back and make different reads. It'll let a guy like Jared Goff play as loosely as he can play, and obviously we've seen that happen this year. When he's hot, it's pretty hard to stop. So I think it starts up front.
There was a good chance that the Rams wouldn't have been in the Super Bowl, and it could have been your rival, the Saints.
It's true, yeah. Could have been.
What did you think of that whole situation with the no call and the rule that the NFL has that you can't review that final play within the last 2 minutes?
Yeah, obviously everybody kind of feels the same way when you watch the play. It was pretty blatant. kind of at a loss for words that I didn't see a flag there. But honestly, it is what it is, and you know, I hope they both lose. So
You're being very diplomatic. You don't care. Christian, thank you so much for being with us.
problem.
Honor to have you.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.